Next deputy in this group is Deputy Lucinda Creighton.
And Taoiseach, in your opening preamble, you unfortunately failed to address the question, the specific question which I have asked, which is to ask you why there is no formal representation from the small and medium-sized sector, from the SME sector, on the National Economic Social Council. It was a clear platform of the Fine Gael party before the last election. It was a clear commitment in advance of the last election that in future discussions and future negotiations and via the representation through the NESC, that the SME sector would have a voice. The SME sector continues not to have a voice, notwithstanding the fact that it is the largest sector which provides the largest employment right across this country, and they are struggling. So, Taoiseach, I'd like a succinct and clear explanation as to why they still have no representation on the NESC. Thank you.
Taoiseach.
Yeah, well, I'd say to Deputy Creighton, and thank her for her question. You see, appointments to the NESC, as you know, are made, as I referred to, in accordance with the NESC Act of 2006 and the NESC Alteration of Composition Order of 2010. And in accordance with those provisions, NESC currently has members that are nominated by business and by employer interests, and they include IBEC, Chambers of Commerce and the Construction Industry Federation. Now, I don't think that anybody that you speak to who is a representative of the Chambers Ireland, who represents small businesses all over the country, would accept the idea that they don't represent SMEs. They do. And equally, the Small Firms Association are a constituent part of IBEC, and they are formally represented on the Council. I have to say that you can divide it up into so many different sectors and segments. When the new council comes to be appointed, consideration can be given to that. But let me tell you that you'd have divisions of business saying we want to be represented also. The SME sector, to be clear about this, Deputy Creighton, is represented by Chambers Ireland, and they represent 60 member chambers who represent over 13,000 businesses in Ireland, and they make their voices heard at the Council. There are 5 main areas of activity. They represent business interests, supporting small and medium enterprises, training and development, international services, and strengthening the chamber network. That's their remit, and they're on the Council, and they voice those opinions very regularly and very vociferously. And in addition, the Small Firms Association, with which you're very familiar, who represent the needs of small enterprises, and they have over 8,000 member companies throughout the country, are a constituent part of IBEC and are thus represented on the Council, and they make their case as well. So it's not just having somebody who say, I am for the SME sector or the small firms. They are actually represented there, and they make their case very cogently indeed. Thank you for your question.
I don't think that if you spoke to representatives of the Small Firms Association or indeed ISME, that they would feel or that they would agree that their specific interests are represented by IBEC on the NESC. There is a different function. That is why the Small Firms Association exists in the first place, because they specifically represent the concerns and the interests of their members. I don't know, Taoiseach, if you're aware of the Mazars report from 2013, which shockingly showed that the SME, small and medium-sized enterprise contribution to the economy in Ireland is the lowest right across the European Union, the lowest contribution of all of the SME sectors in all of the member states across the Union. That is worrying. I think it should be a cause for concern for the government, and it's something that should be jolting the government into action. And certainly in my extensive and constant contacts with small business owners, self-employed people, entrepreneurs, and indeed investors in small business right across the country, as well as in my own constituency, they feel very much that that government policy does not reflect their interests and in fact is not is not supportive of them. They often feel targeted. They feel that they don't have the same access or the same ear in government as, for example, the multinationals that are present in this country or the larger firms that are present in this country. And one shocking statistic, Taoiseach, which emerged from CSO figures just a few short months ago, is the fact that in 2011, when you became Taoiseach, 92,000 SMEs, self-employed people, had other employees in their companies. They were employers of people other than themselves. By 2014, August 2014, that figure had actually dropped. At a time when employment overall is rising in the country, the number of self-employed people who employ others has dropped. That is a cause for significant concern, and I think it is important that you and your party in government now honour the commitment that you made before the last election, that you give a clear and a formal voice, and it's very clear, and I have the statutory instrument here on my iPad from 2010. It's very clear where the power lies. You have the capacity to make those appointments to the NESC. That is your role as Taoiseach, and there is no reason, logical or otherwise, that I can see other than just failure to rock the boat, continuity, continue as you were, which seems to be, unfortunately, the attitude when it comes to the SME sector. There seems to be no imperative or no sense of urgency at government level to prioritise and strategically position Ireland in order to support the enterprise sector. As I said, Mazar's report the year before last showed Ireland with the lowest contribution from the SME sector to the overall economy. Recent figures showed that Ireland, as compared to a comparable country, Denmark, has 1/8 of the number of exports from Irish SME, small and medium-sized businesses, as compared to a country like Denmark. That is a cause for significant concern, and I don't think it's good enough to simply say in 2010 Brian Cowan appointed X organisations and therefore we just allow the status quo to remain. We need to see change, we need to see dynamism in government, and we need to see leadership, and we need to see the SME sector, the self-employed people, entrepreneurs, the people who are asking day in, day out to take risks, who pay more tax than anybody else in this country. They need to be given a voice and they need to be listened to.